Okay, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Late Night Roast. I'm your host, TheShagsworth. Took a couple of weeks off. Before we do anything, shut this door. Took 1 week off. Sort of modified the schedule a little bit, and we're going to do this show every 2 weeks. So basically, I think it's the second and third Tuesday. I don't know. Every other week starting now, we're going to be doing this show. Live on YouTube. We're going to be live on Twitch also. So those over on Twitch, hello, how are you? Good to see you. Those on YouTube, hello, how are you? Thank you for joining. We have a couple of things to talk about this evening. There's, this show, what I like to do with this show is give you my own commentary and sort of work through different things on my own without the influence of others, because I think it's important that we are able to sort of work through things. And sometime down the line, I really want to start challenging myself a little bit more in regards to like questions and comments about, of happenings going on, if you will, even having guests and maybe even challenging guests, those who differ from me ideologically and all that. But the Late Night Roast is meant to, in some ways be funny, but also informative. And again, for me to work through certain things on my own. And remember, for those joining for the first time, those watching the VOD for the first time, remember this show is it's sort of a split between entertainment and information. I might not always get something right. I'll do my best to correct myself when I am wrong. It has happened in the past, but this is always a work in progress. This show, unlike some of my other ones, I'm aiming to be a little bit more informative. Our Wednesday show, while informative, is way more entertainment driven, and we're trying to have a good time and unwind and kind of look at the world in a different sort of way, in a fun way. And even though sometimes it can be a little negative. But I want to thank you guys, all of you, for joining me. If you guys have been enjoying my content, one of the best possible things you can do is annihilate the like button down below, subscribe to the channel, of course, leave comments when you can. All of those things are totally 100% free, and they make a huge difference. Any sort of comment that you can maybe think of, whether it's a question back at me or just something regarding the video, it is really helpful. I do thank all of you who have contributed in the past. Again, it is really, really awesome, the support we're seeing. We hit 415 subs this week. We are on our way in a fast manner to 500, which was my goal for the end of the year. I would have loved to hit 1,000, but we're staying modest. We're staying at 500 for the end of the year. I'm sorry, my original goal was 500 for the end of the year. Now I sort of up that to maybe hit 750. We got 3 months to do it. I think we can do it. But yeah. Annihilate the like button into oblivion. Let's do it. And of course, to the chat, Killbot over on Twitch. How you doing? Good to see you. Arcasul, hello, sir. The Rock Reina, a wonderful, awesome editor and producer. How you doing, sir? Good to see you, my friend. So we're going to start with something regarding Twitch. It was published a week ago. It's kind of an older story, but it's still something I wanted to draw attention to because I think it's important people understand some of the good and bad things that sort of happen on these platforms, or the useful features of them, rather. So Twitch is removing host mode, and absolutely nobody understands why. So this article is actually a really good article from PC Gamer, but it does sort of run through why it's being done. But from someone who has been on Twitch for several years, who have seen features come and go, the host mode is absolutely useless. Absolutely useless. There's nothing host mode does that the raid feature can't do better. And quite honestly, if you're not using the raid feature and you're using hosting instead, you're doing it wrong. Take your audience, push it to another streamer and let them reap the benefits. That's what hosting was used as a precursor to rating. And once people figured out, like, oh, this is what they're doing, they're sort of pushing their audience over to the other side, it became huge. Like, because people used to just say, like, hey, drop a link, here's the link, go over to this person's page, go support them, tell them I sent you. And then now there's streamers, so Classify at Class, I don't even know this person, but they said Twitch is removing hosting other channels, and it's the dumbest thing I've ever read. So when I'm offline, I can't even have my viewers enjoying my friends who are live. Such an L. Wrong. No one's going to your channel while you're offline to look at who you're hosting. And honestly, it's not even, if people are, it's not a sustainable model. Like, it's not something that's happening enough. Like, Twitch is not a place that people go to watch, like, to check in on what someone else is doing through another channel. It's just not what's going on. Twitch is a live platform. So if you're involved with if someone's involved with your community and you're constantly rating them or hosting them, it's very likely that person is going to go to that channel already, because they're following them. There's no point in, like, to me, this is just extra features for no reason. Hosting was kind of cool when it first started, but no one's going there unless they know that you are live. Twitch is a very destination based platform, if that makes sense. So you go to Twitch because you got an alert that your friend is streaming or your favorite streamer is streaming. So you go there for that person. You're not, like, it's very unlikely that you're going to Twitch without a purpose. And even if you do go there without a purpose, you're going to look at who's online and you're going to go to that page if they're online. You're not going to go search out that person's profile just because you know them or you watch them a lot to see who's they're hosting. That's just not how it works. So this is all much ado about nothing, in my opinion. I don't know. I do know it's useless. Don't use hosting. Just raid. Arcsoul says host was useless in comparison to rating. The amount of loops you would have to go through to reach the other audience. Right. And exactly like I said, like, you're not, Twitch being the destination website that it is, you're not going to a particular stream, or you're not going to Twitch because you want to see if someone's hosting someone. No. You go there because someone you know is live, someone you enjoy is live. It would be like going to your favorite TV show and be like, you know what? I hope the WB is hosting some Nickelodeon shows tonight. I hope. No, you're just going to go to the place where they originate. That's just how it works. Just how it works. So good on Twitch for removing that feature. But of course, all the normal idiots are complaining about the normal garbage. This is stupid. Twitch is a great place, but there's a lot to learn on Twitch. RC Scott is here. How you doing, sir? It must be break time. Sir. You go to see if someone you follow is live or if someone on the front page looks interesting. Absolutely. That's the point of Twitch. Twitch is there because you know content is available for you at the moment. YouTube is a place you go when you're just trying to bum around, trying to find something good. That is the site that you go to here on YouTube. That's where you go to just sort of find something and hope something starts up. That's what you come to YouTube for, not Twitch. Twitch is destination. So anyways, there's a lot of good stuff. So one thing I want to talk about that I'm like really happy about is, well, I haven't seen the new episode of House of Dragons, but I have enjoyed House of Dragons so far. It has been a real big breath of fresh air as far as television goes. It's been I think it's been a rough go for a lot of it. There is actually some good shows out there that I plan on talking about that people are missing out on. But yeah, the show House of Dragons is I don't know how much it follows the book. I heard it sort of jumps around a little bit, but it's still more true to life, and it just feels better. The world feels really real to me. Uh, it's one thing I said on last week's the midweek hump is that the difference between House of Dragons and Rings of Power has been like honestly the special effects. I could not believe like how big and broad the world of Westeros looks in this versus Middle Earth, which seems small and contained and like CGI soundstage. Like it didn't. I could tell that the one world was fake and the other one world looked real. So big plus from that side alone. Rock Rana says, I think if a channel has a certain amount of hosts, it should have better discovery. Maybe. I just don't think like Twitch is not about. They don't do anything with discoverability, which is really strange to me. Or it's a very roundabout way of doing it. RC Scott says, I have friends who DJ. The lockdowns push them onto Twitch. It streams their sets and collect donations. Now they do live sets and streams. No, that's awesome. There is definitely a point to Twitch, but like the what I've noticed is that Twitch is 100%. It's a destination website. You go there because you know something is live, but like other sites like YouTube, you're going there because you need to see like a mix of stuff. The lovely Sherry, good to see you. How are you? Great to see you. RC Scott says, I watched the first episode of House of the Dragon. Pretty badass how they ripped the baby out of that chick. Otherwise, the story didn't hold me. You know, it's an interesting thing. I thought that was like one of the best scenes between the delivery and the jousting. Holy moly, it was cool. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for the rest of the season, but I could see how it might not be for everyone. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, I don't know if I can really show this on YouTube. It's a pretty brutal attack. It's a pretty brutal attack that happens. But what I wanted to draw attention to is like the video is of two kids, likely in high school. No, it's a video. It's a video of a kid getting beat up. So it's a video of one kid like beating ass on another kid. He takes him by the head, like around the head like this, throws him head first into a wall. I mean, it's like a thud. The kid falls to the ground. The other boy stands over him, yelling at him. The kid tries to get up, and then the one on the ground gets a heel to the face. It's a pretty brutal attack. And what the reason I wanted to bring this up, because I'm a parent, I'm a dad, I have two young boys. I think it's really important that your children learn to defend themselves like immediately. Obviously it depends on where you grow up, what you're a part, like what area you're a part of. Kids need to learn to defend themselves. You shouldn't let your kid get their ass kicked like this. You need to find a way to have them defend themselves. Take any sort of martial arts. I mean, not only is it good for their own self-discipline, it's good for it's good for their body to for training and exercise. But this kid like literally gets it handed to him. But what's even more disturbing than the actual beating, and this is something I've noticed a lot over the years recently, is that people have no problem standing by Well, okay, let me run this back real quick. What's disturbing is that people are assaulting one another on camera. They know a camera is out and they continue to like commit crimes. Essentially, they continue to assault people on camera. And this isn't just like one-on-one fight in high school. Like, okay, this could be, for any reason. I don't know what the beginning of the fight was. That kid could have been spitting on the other kid. We don't know what the beginning is. But again, this culture of getting on camera and doing something illegal, vandalizing or assaulting someone on camera, this is a huge problem in our culture. I mean, you have groups of people going into stores and or like restaurants. They're getting the wrong ketchup or not enough ketchup, and they're trashing an entire restaurant on camera. Their friends are filming it. And not to mention all these people standing by letting this kid assault the other one. Like, it's one thing to get into like fisticuffs with someone. If you're standing toe to toe and you guys are trading blows, okay, I can understand people just standing around. Someone has you on the ground or someone throws you headfirst into a tile wall, and then kicks you in the mouth with their heel while you're on the ground. Someone needs to be stepping in. Someone needs to be stepping in. I wouldn't be surprised if this kid gets like a serious charge put against him. Like, what he did was pretty awful. I'm not going to show it because it's too violent. And I'm sure YouTube would take it down. Sergeant Herbs. Wait, are we talking about World Star Hip Hop? I don't think so. Arkansas says they have zero problems being a bystander or encouraging the beatdown, and nobody cares about their actions. There's no accountability anymore, no punishments, no remorse. No one cares. That really seems to be the case here. And this is my problem. I don't know what's going to happen to the boy who beat up the other one. I'm sure something will happen. But like, this is a moment where you have to think, okay, is it like, do the police need to get involved here? How old these kids look like they're probably 15 or 16 years old. Like, the one kid is not small. The other kid is small. The kid who's getting the beating is smaller than the boy providing the beating. It's teach your kids to defend themselves. I've already told my kids, someone's messing with you and you tell them to stop and they don't stop, you go and you tell the teacher. Teacher doesn't do anything, you go and you tell the principal. Principal doesn't do anything, you step in and you handle it yourself. If I get a call from a principal that says, hey, your kid, is going to be suspended or he's in detention because he hit another child, I'm going to say, well, did he tell the teacher? Well, yeah. Okay. Well, did he tell you? Oh, yeah. Well, what'd you do about it? Nothing. So he did something about it. That is the line on which I'm telling my child to go. You need to nowadays. People have no problem in the public eye and public view, like literally committing crimes. So at some point you got to play their game. At some point you just got to play their game. RC Scott says, growing up on the south side of Chicago, you have to learn how to use your hands. Otherwise you will not survive. Agreed, man. I've been in the south side of Chicago. It's scary. It can be a scary place. And I was there to watch music. In the lighter side of the news, dare I say, not the lighter side of the news. Are you freaking kidding me? So this is something that needs to be brought up. I can't chat for fear of Mama Susan. Sometimes good conversation cannot be had on this platform. Sad. Yeah. Sad. So I've established many times that I'm a parent. I where were you at? Dude, it was probably 15 years ago now. I couldn't even tell you. It was at so the place we were at, I couldn't even tell you. I don't even remember where it was at this point because I was touring with my friend's band at the time, and it was a really small venue. I believe upstairs. Was this the same place? Or am I thinking of Cleveland? I think I want to say that the downstairs, there was like two venues. Fuck, I don't remember if this was Cleveland or if it was Chicago. No. Upstairs. Was upstairs like a record shop, and then down below is like kind of like it was I can't even remember. I can't even remember. It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. We were there. It's funny because we stayed in North Chicago, like 100%. You could eat off the sidewalk, like it was so clean. And yeah, but where we were, it was pretty gnarly. Let me see. Is this it? Let me take a look. Let me see if there's pictures on here. I want to see if it was Reggie's because it looks like it could have been. I can't. I can't even see. There's no pictures of the inside. I want to see it. App photos. There's photos. Yo, I think this is it. I think this is it. It was Reggie's. I think. I'm 99% sure that was it. 99% sure. No, it's all good. Timon, what's up? How's it going? Oh, don't worry about the flow. We're good. We're good. I like trying to figure this stuff out. You know, nice little trip down memory lane. Tim on flip. That's what I'm gonna call it. Tim on flip. Well, how's it going? Flow loss. So I've spoken many times about being a parent, and there's things that I'm seeing now between all like the maps stuff and all that. It's alarming to say the least, the kind of stuff that's trying to be pushed along in schools. And when this came across my computer the other day, I was looking on Twitter, and this is a quick little like excerpt essentially from a book that is supposed to be sex education for 8 to 12-year-olds, not grade 8 to grade 12, 8 to 12-year-olds. Wait till you see this, because again, this is some pretty abhorrent shit that like it makes me really wonder what people are thinking. So this is what sex education means now. The next time you meet someone that says it's just about safety, inclusion, and empathy, show them this and watch them break their groomer spine trying to justify it. So this is the book, Sex Education for 8 to 12-year-old kids, book for good parents. Okay. In a couple of a little excerpt from this, I'll kind of read it if you can't see it. Therefore, while the higher mysteries and deeper intimacies of a union should be reserved for later years, a child should be gradually introduced to the ordinary mechanics of lovemaking and showed to enter into a parent's circle of love, instead of being shut out completely and left to wonder how daddy and mommy do it. Okay. Here are tips on how to get started with educating your child about his or her sexuality. And I'm going to pause right here. This is how you do it. You sit your kid down and you tell them the secrets of life. You start you start telling them about the birds and the bees. Okay? This is how it's done for years. You sit down and you introduce them to the concepts of what it means to create another life. What happens when me and daddy love each other, blah 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 blah. All right. Couples can deliberately leave the bedroom door open or ajar while expressing intimacy. Take your child into bed with you and allow him or her to watch as you share intimacy. You see where this is going, right? I don't really have to keep going with this because it's just the most insane thing that you'll ever listen to and see. A couple should have no inhibition having their child watch as they share an intimate embrace. Like the problem with this is that it's so incredibly vague that like people take this and run with it. This is why you need to be very specific with your language. Because someone's going to take this and like I think I know what they're trying to say, but what the way it's coming off is very much not good and not appropriate. And what's weird about this is it's written as if the majority of children do not witness their mom and dad hug one another, hold one another, give them a normal kiss. You do not need your kids in the bedroom. You do not need your kids near you while you're being intimate with your partner. It will naturally happen because of just how inquisitive kids are, but that doesn't mean you need to expose them to it. It's like when people are like, oh yeah, we're going to go have a measles party. What? What? This is an issue. It's a huge issue that's coming up more and more. I'm not saying it is currently normal, this behavior, but when books are published like this and they're advocated to be put into school libraries or that children should be reading them or being taught these concepts, you have to wonder like what is the motivation? Is it really to educate kids on sex and all that? I have a hard time believing that when I read stuff like this. When I hear news stories and when I see TED Talks about normalizing minor attracted persons, understanding that pedophilia is a sexuality, like these are all very alarming concepts, and they're not for young people to absorb. This is why being a parent is so difficult. Being a parent is the most difficult job on the planet. It is not up to people, is not up to teachers to give the brunt of this stuff. It is for the parents, but it's for the parents to discuss this and allow an open door policy for the child to ask questions. R.C. Scott says, what's the end game here? Making the generation of broken shells that are easy to dominate? It would seem that way, like, and this is one of the things that like we have to realize one of the more important things that we have to do is it's okay to have an easy life. We need to find a way to create the hard shell that previous generations had that a lot of generations now don't, or this generation is lacking. Right? Like, I'm not saying I want someone to have a hard life, but we need to learn how to make that skin thicker. And it's not it seems like no matter what we do or what is being done in schools, it's just how do we make things easier so we don't have to have a hard time. It's like the whole failure as a necessity is being left out. Monkeypox parties. God damn. There's plenty of those going on, I guess. We need to find a way to get. Yeah, so this is a good point. R.C. Scott says one way is to keep as less tech involved while the kid develops. Yeah. So and like, again, the child needs to learn moderation, right? Just throwing a screen at a child every time you're sick of them, it can be bad. You need to learn how to balance, and they need to understand that it's more of a reward than something that you can actually have and like all the time. If you do all your stuff, if you complete all of your homework, if you do all your chores, if you don't talk back, like you can play, so you can have some screen time. But we need to learn how to create that sort of thicker exterior for kids to understand that it's just not always fair. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. We need to and we need to learn how to fail, but turn it around, to pick yourself up and be better for you. Arkasul says, we're going to enter a generation of debauchery and degeneracy, the likes we have never seen since Roman times with, man, I feel like an asshole for not knowing that. Lupercalia. I'm sorry. My history is, but this time we will be weak and malleable and easily broken. And it's not to say that there hasn't been other easier times, around, but we're definitely entering another age of just, I don't want to say, I hate being all doom and gloom. It just seems that way. Hey, RC Scott, have a great night, man. Be well, sir. So yeah, just know that this stuff is out there. Lupercalia, a precursor to Valentine's Day. Oh, okay. Just know that this stuff is out there. If you're someone who's watching the VOD and you're stumbling across this stuff for the first time, the stuff out there that is trying to get in and manipulate your children is out there. It is 100% out there. Be present in your children's lives. They need you way more than you know right now. And especially if you have infant children, just be there for them. Love yourself, love your partner, love them. They will come around. You don't need some idiot masquerading as some inclusionary, empathetic human to teach your children. Like, and this stuff is being defended. It's being defended. We're the people being called bigots because we don't want to accept their shitty terms and their, quite frankly, groomer tactics. I don't like using that word willy-nilly, but this is the kind of shit where I think it's sus, man. It's sus behavior. And again, it's not to say by sharing that this is rampant everywhere. It's not. I don't believe for a second it's rampant everywhere. I think for the most part, your kids are in good schools, but you still need, it doesn't mean you can like sit back and like, oh, we're from an awesome little town in the middle of nowhere. It's always important to be involved with your children. Always important to be involved with them and what they're doing. Please, please, please. This is why I do what I do. You should be involved in every level of your life, especially your children's lives, especially in your love life, in your local family. It's so important. Yeah. I'll call them pruners now, like pruning a sapling tree. It's too bad. It's too bad that we've kind of come to this, and we're like, I've been looking all around at the stuff that's happening, like the stuff that people complain about, the stuff that we need like some inclusionary language for. It wasn't ever necessary before because no one took offense to every goddamn thing that they disagreed with. And I found myself, who was Destiny was talking about something on some clip, and I can't remember the specifics at this point, but it just rang true about like we don't there's a whole side of people who just want to silence opposition, right? Like I want people to keep talking about this stuff. Like to some extent, I need to know where these people are. If someone's going to come to my kid's school and start saying like, oh, we need to be accepting of maps and we need to learn, you should let your child watch you do this stuff. Thank you for exposing yourself. Thank you. So now I know who to keep my children away from. I don't want I don't want to silence them. I don't want them to say what they're saying, but I'm certainly not going to take up the censorship mantle in this case. You are allowed to say what you want. You're allowed to look as dumb as you want. That is part of free speech. I am 100% here for it. Problem is you have a whole side of things that all they want to do is silence their opposition. And this is true of conservatives and of liberals. Like, and I hate using the two terms, but it's true that it 100% is true on both sides, that to some extent they want to silence the opposition, and that's not what I want to do. I want to know who I'm dealing with at all times. At all times, I want to know who these people are. Axel says, it's bad when we have to come up with meme names to talk about volatile subjects. Yeah, it's that's one of the big problems. It's like there's so much. It's because somewhere along the line people were convinced that your words are violence. It all goes back to that. It all goes back to people thinking that me punching someone in the face is the same as me calling them names. You equate the two. Now you start having to change your language because either the algorithm's picking up something that's quote unquote inappropriate or harmful. I mean, I hate to say it, these people are just weak. They're just weak. And don't get me wrong, there's times where like I certainly feel a particular way about someone's saying something to me. I might not like it. I might not like every bit of feedback I get on something, but that doesn't matter. If someone came up to me and said, Tom, you're a fucking asshole. You're a loser. No one likes you. There would be part of me that would wonder, what did I do to warrant someone coming to? It could be that the person's just a troll and piece of shit, right? But it also could be that I actually messed up at some point. So what do I have to do to fix what I did? That's how people should be approaching this. And yeah, of course, it's oh my God, people have different experiences and all that. It doesn't change the fact that you need to learn how to take these things and, well, brush them off a lot of times. Yoshi the Oreo says, over on Twitch, how you doing? Hello, over on Twitch, how you guys doing? When you're in these schools being bullied by other children, words are violence because it often led to violence and they channel it as such. Yeah, that's true. This is why I said, like, you need to teach your kids at a young age how to defend themselves. Put your young kids in martial arts, because it'll teach them discipline, first of all. Sweep the leg, Johnny. No. They need to learn how to defend themselves, because if they can't just walk off a shitty comment from someone, turn the other cheek, because that's often what these people want, right? Just think of all the bullies in your school. All they did was poked and prodded these defenseless kids, and they get a rise out of them. That's what trolls want. Most of these people on the internet, just so you know, most of the people on Twitter say they just need to be ignored. They just need to be ignored. And now that's not to say that I don't fuck with trolls when I can. I'm absolutely guilty of doing it. You need to learn when to ignore them. You can't go on Twitter every single day and engage with haters or dissenters. I turn off all of my notifications except from people that are mutual follows. Like if you and I follow each other, I'll get an alert on something that you interact on my tweet. If we aren't, I don't see it. Every now and then I'll check stuff and maybe comment, but you cannot engage with trolls on like really any big level. That's exactly what they want. When you're a bigger account, when you're an account that has engagements with other people, especially other bigger streamers, and then you like retweet someone who has like 5 to like 50 followers, you're giving them exactly what they want, because it also works on the other side, right? So for example, take Gina Carano and like any other person involved with cancel culture. They get canceled by the mob, and the opposition welcomes them in with open arms. They take them in because they realize you fucked up. Now we're going to make these people famous. The same thing happens on the other side. Maybe not quite as quickly, but the same thing will happen. People will rally around that other, like even teeny tiny account, because they're like, oh, see that piece of shit, blah. Like, nah, don't do it. Just ignore them. Ignore them out of existence, because if they have no engagement, they'll just continue on, because their life is miserable anyway. That's why they're on Twitter trying to hash it out with you. So just ignore them. Just ignore them. Heron of Alexandria, welcome. My grandpa made all of us learn American Kempo. I'm a brown belt. Oh, crap. Don't mess with Heron. I don't fight with people on Twitter either. I stay positive. Good for you, girl. Good for you. Lord knows I take a turn to negative town. Usually my criticism of shows, right? And like these really fucking big weirdos. Sergeant Herb says, when you don't care, the canceling and trolling just won't work. Yeah, man. I don't give a shit. And here's the big secret, right? Here's the big secret. And this is a free piece of advice for whoever wants it. Don't stop making content ever. If you enjoy what you do, don't stop. I don't care if every single person who watches your video downvotes it. If what you're doing, if you believe in what you're doing and you feel good about the things that you're saying, keep it going. Do not stop. Don't do this for anyone else other than yourself. Content creation is an amazing thing to get into. It's a great way for you to talk out your thoughts, to work through things, to grow. Don't stop because someone doesn't like your shit. If tomorrow every single one of you turned on me and didn't come around to these things, I would still do what I do. It would be harder, but I would absolutely continue to do what I do. I don't give a shit at the end of the day what most people think, because the only thing I'm in control of is myself. I can control me. I can control the things that I do and the decisions I make. Outside of that, can't help. One day, you and I, whoever you might be, will not see eye to eye on an issue, and that's okay. That is okay. Don't stop what you're doing ever. Do not stop. The minute you stop because you think that someone doesn't like your work, they win. Bottom line. Astro over on Twitch, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Great to see you. Great to see you. It's just an important thing to know. It is so easy to get caught up in the numbers game while you're creating content. The worst thing you can do is that. The worst thing you can do is get caught up in the numbers game. Just do something because you like it. And as soon as it becomes a chore and work, stop. No one gives a shit if you disappear tomorrow. No one cares if you disappear tomorrow. Just do what you love. If you love playing Super Mario and being the best at it, do it. If you love talking about politics, log on and do it. If you like to make cooking videos, then do it. It doesn't matter, man. Arkansas says, you and I don't see eye to eye on Rings of Power, but that's about it. But I also don't see eye to eye with Lofty. Still going to talk to both of you. Yeah, man. Guess what? Surprise. This whole this whole game of life, largely, for the most part, you will not see eye to eye with the people that you come across. And it's okay. The best people on this planet learn to navigate the spaces in between. I can't stand a couple of my coworkers, but guess what? I got to work with them. But most of the day, I just want to walk in there and say, "Shut up, bitch." Can't do it. Can't do it. I learn to navigate the spaces between them and myself, because that's where I got to live. I can't live just on my side of the turf. I got to find how I can squeak through and not say shit like, "Shut up, bitch." But it's a beautiful thing. And once you get control of that, once you get control of like your emotions with stuff and your ability to talk through things and sit across from someone who you absolutely can't stand and have a discussion with them, that's when you win, man. That is when you win. That's what this is all about. This whole game of life is about just that. And that's where I see a lot of my YouTube stuff going, is that like I want to sit across from people who I don't share like ideologies with. I would love to sit down with someone who I fundamentally disagree with, because if I could show anyone that it's possible for myself and like some other commentator to find some sort of common ground, like it's a huge win. There's a lot of big names out there that I wish I could sit down with at some point, and maybe one day it will happen. But you need to be able to do that in your everyday life. And I tell people this all the time. It doesn't matter what job you go into, you're always going to have the same people following you around. You're going to have the guy who's always trying to one-up you, the one-upper. He exists at every job. He's done it all, right? You always have the person who's been in the industry way too long. Doesn't matter what industry that is, but there's someone who's been there for so long that they can't stand it. They're this far away from burning that whole motherfucker down. These people exist everywhere you go. There's no escaping them. No escaping them. Sergeant said, "I would tell my coworkers, 'Shut up, bitch.' I just make sure they don't hear me say it." Yeah, I wish I had my soundboard at work sometimes. I can just like, So I made a quick little YouTube short that like exploded yesterday, by the way. I couldn't believe it. Like it's my most viewed anything. It's like almost 6,000 views on it, which is nothing for this channel, but it was still fucking awesome. It's just interesting to see what catches on and what doesn't, you know. Things I don't expect to catch on, they usually do. But funny enough, we're going to be talking about the Rings of Power real quick. The Rings of Power stars are speaking out about racism directed at the cast. "We stand together against the relentless racism, threats, harassment, and abuse some of our castmates of color are being subjected to. We refuse to ignore it or tolerate it." I don't think anyone here could disagree with that statement, right? There's not one person in this stream right now likely that is pushing for any sort of racism against this cast. The Drinker just came out with a video too regarding this, but I'd already been thinking about how like this has been such a pattern in Hollywood now that it's a reflex for them. A show comes out that they know will likely stir up controversy because they're pushing the DEI agenda, so they have to do damage control. Like they have to do damage control immediately before there's even an issue, because almost every person who I've come across when it comes to this show has nothing to do with the race or sex of the cast, has everything to do with their acting chops or lack thereof, and the writing quality or lack thereof, and even the special effects to an extent. Like this show, as much as I want to defend like certain parts of it, there's very few sides I will. like the show, when I look at it, has a very like several objective issues and problems, and that is like what I'm focusing on. And I think most people who have criticism of this show, because because we I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. We've been duped for so long. We've been told, like the mainstream media continues to say, people don't like this because of, XYZ. We know the reasons for these reasons right here. That now it's a reflex for them, and for us, we're just like, oh, well, here it is, here it comes. And every single person called it. Like everyone knew that when this show came out, that they were going to do the same thing they did with Kenobi, the same thing they did with Ghostbusters, the same thing they did with She-Hulk. And it's tired. And the problem is too, one of the problems with why people don't see this on a broader scale is because like it's happening in TV shows. Like it's just big enough news that like it does make it into some people, but I think for the most part, people aren't paying attention to the Hollywood Reporter regarding the Rings of Power. Like this stuff isn't being pushed on like CNN. This is being pushed on platforms like Twitter. So it makes you wonder, is this really news? No. Everyone here knows this is not news. It's made up, it's fabricated with a few exceptions. There's a few exceptions of people probably DMing them and saying some racist shit. Right? There's always going to be. Is this show are they actually experiencing this on a huge level? I would venture to say no. I would venture to say that most people are upset with the bastardization of the lore, and with the forced DEI stuff, and also the very poor quality writing, special effects, and acting. That's the criticism I'm seeing in this whole thing. Arcasul says, all I'm going to say is this. Would love to chat with you about Rings of Power, brother, but genuinely like to hear what you think is nice about it. And I'm being serious and not flipping. No, of course. Of course. I just can't stand Galadriel. She's such a see you next Tuesday. So this is the thing. This is the thing about, I'll answer you, Arcasul, in a second, but what do I genuinely like about this? I think there's a few really nice moments. Like there's a few good like cinematography moments in this show. I do enjoy Elrond. I don't find him bad. I like Durin and Disa. I would like to see like some more of them. I would like to just see more Khazad-dûm anyway. Like I would almost just prefer a show about that. And like their real like the transformation of that great city. There's nothing grand that I love about this show, I'll be honest. There's a lot of criticisms I have of it, but it mainly centers around the acting quality. But I do like the chemistry of some characters. I am interested in their story a little bit more, and I would like to see more like really nice like cinematography shots, like some of the stuff that we've seen from the trilogy. And there is some of that apparent in this show. I don't think that this is a good show overall. I won't defend it in the way that Lofty defends it, but I will certainly defend the few good moments that they have. I also am aware and understand like the point of this show and what they're trying to do with a book, with the adaptation. I like Numenor and Halbrand since he's hot. Yeah, I'm excited to hear the story. I actually have the source material the was it I can't even pronounce the name. My brain doesn't work. I have it on my wish list for Audible next month, so I will be listening to it to get the full effect. I think Galadriel is unlikable for good reason. I don't like the actress who plays her. I don't think she's that good yet. She hasn't proven to me that she's good. And one thing that's also taking away from it is like her like the god awful fight scene and that ice troll. Oh my god, so Silmarillion. Yeah, that's what. Okay, Silmarillion. Yep. Sorry, my mouth wasn't working. I have it on my wish list, so I'll be getting it next month or this month. On the 23rd, I get my new credit, so I'll get it and listen to it. I love this world. I love the world that Tolkien created. I am fully aware what Amazon did and what the point of it is. I was under no delusion that this would be any sort of faithful adaptation. And to some extent, from what little I understand of the actual book, is that it would be really hard to adapt it because of because of the time span it takes to do. But I'm under the impression too is if you can't do a faithful adaptation, you probably shouldn't do it. But I also have to look at it in a way, like if I look at it from just a filmmaking point of view, that's how I've been approaching the Rings of Power. I have to look at this show like, okay, how do they make this like filmmaking wise, writing, all that. But I think the point of Galadriel's story and the reason that she's a see you next Tuesday right now is because she's in a place that's like we know her in a very different way than she is now. So we're going to see how she gets to that point. So if we know that there's 5 seasons coming, like you have to know this is going to be probably the worst version of her in this particular season. It would take 10 seasons with good pacing to tell the stories in the first and second age, and then maybe a couple from the third age, and then a season for the fourth age. I have no doubt. Cameron, how's it going? Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you. I appreciate all of you guys, all of chat for hanging tonight. I do appreciate it a lot. Very awesome of you. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much time with Rings of Power. It's really not the point. But what I did want to really say was that, there's well, I mean, and again, I don't know the source material, but if I'm looking at it as a way of character development, is that if the 5th season is going to place her like in her third age self, like from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, there's going to be a lot. There is going to be some serious shit that she's going to have to go through come the 2nd and 3rd season, I would imagine. Like that's how it's going to sort of work out. But I just think it's bad. I think they shouldn't have adapted this. I think that they shouldn't have adapted this. I think they should have left it a book. There's a YouTube series that shows all the battle tactics in Lord of the Rings. I'll tweet it out. You should. I'd be interested to see that too. Tolkien has tremendous world building. His world building is like second to none, man. It's so good. So good. And the amount of like rich history that is involved with it is like, I'm jealous. As a storyteller myself, I can't. Like I hope to one day be able to get like just a drop of what he's capable of doing. So moving along. I don't even know if this is. I'm so disgusted half the time with the stuff I see on the internet. And at this point, it's like what else can I say? What else? Okay, we're gonna go through this real quick because again, people say like, oh, they're not trying to do this to kids. They're not exposing this to kids. Like, this is the shit that, like, I don't even know if I could technically show this on on YouTube. This is the shit. A toddler teaches their a teacher, wow, a parent teaches their toddler to tip a drag queen who then performs provocatively for the child. Like, I don't even know why this is appropriate to have in a restaurant. Like, I don't know what exactly where they are, but like for real, man. What, like, I don't, again, I'm beating a dead horse at this point because I know it's around so much, but this is the kind of stuff that I can't level with. I can't like get behind and say, oh yeah, I think this is appropriate. This is appropriate at a nightclub with adults. I have no problem with people doing drag. Don't do it around kids. And stop having your kids go up to drag queens and give them money. You just give the drag queen money and then don't let your child watch what's going on. The drag queen of culture. Cino's hair. What's up, Brahma? That's funny. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I'll be like, oh, it's they're not exposing children to it. Well, how about this? What do you have to say to that? No, this is wrong on many levels. Love is their next step. Operation. So Yoshi over on Twitch says, love is their next step. Operation Map 3.0. Yeah. Not even a good dancer. Not even a good dancer. Like, this should be alarming to people. And the more I see of these instances, like these things, you know, a lot of the stuff that you see on Twitter regarding like maps and drag queens around kids, I equate a lot of it to like the like back in 2020, 2019, you had a lot of those videos surrounding violence, like police brutality and stuff. The problem is that so they replay the shit over and over and over again, right, to make you believe that there's this huge systemic problem. There's a huge systemic problem surrounding police and brutality, when it's not true, right? There's obviously bad cops. There's obviously people who are doing shit that's wrong. And I think the same thing is happening here. We're seeing a lot of this stuff on repeat all the time, so we assume it's everywhere. I don't think it's everywhere, but it doesn't mean that I can't oppose this sort of thing and that parents should be avoiding shit like this. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate and does nothing for the broader culture. Be present in your kid's life and don't be a detriment to their development. They don't need to see this. This is fucking insane, man. Like, why does it even have to be said at this point? Is it because it's the love, it's desensitization to the perverse? Yeah, I guess that's it. I can't think of another reason why you would want to do this. Like, even the love is love thing, like, you don't need this in order to teach a child or anyone that love is love. And it's why nobody wants to hear the solution that you just need to be present in your parent in your kid's life. Worry about your family, worry about your local community. Show your kids love growing up. No one wants that solution because it doesn't, it provides no immediate effect. These people want like immediate legislation. That's why they push for things like censoring the Orange Man. They don't care. They don't care about the family unit. They want, you know, that globalist like thought of we need our overlords to govern us. We can't trust the individual, which is insanity, man. It's total insanity. If it makes the right angry, they'll do it. That's their only reason. That's what it seems like to me. It seems, and that's the problem. The one of the biggest problems we face in our time is this big division between people. It used, and I think a lot of it has to do with the internet. I think the internet has made people believe that like what's happening here in Utah is relevant to the people in New York, and we need to care about like what's happening in both places as if they're the same place, and that's just wrong. The internet's made people, I mean, it's a beautiful thing that everything is so accessible and that we can see each other from miles and miles and miles away. That's awesome. It's awesome that all of us can connect on some level at any moment, but it's brainwashed people into thinking that my ills are your ills, and it couldn't be farther from the truth. Couldn't be farther from the truth. We need to care for one another and be there for one another. Absolutely. I don't think anyone's denying that. I think we all want what's best for humanity. I think we all, to some extent, would love to come together at some point as one. But hey, listen, all hope is not lost, because we're going to end this on a good note. All is not lost. We're going to end this on a good note, people. Ready for this? I hope you are. Nursing home hires stripper for seniors in wheelchairs. We're very sorry. So this particular nursing home had the Mid-Autumn Festival. It's an important holiday in Chinese culture, and they had to shut it down for a couple of years because of COVID. So they really wanted to kick it up a notch and give these people some entertainment, and they did. Are they at least providing Viagra? I don't think so, but they certainly. This is inappropriate. It's not bad, but yeah, you know, they went wild, and dude's getting busy over there. Good for him, man. Where there's a picture where, look at this guy. Look at him. He's like, hey man, why don't you share? I don't even know if I can technically show that. Put me back on there. I just thought that was hilarious that but yeah, the nurse, they totally 100% hired a stripper. Sorry, erotic dancer. And the statement they put out was, the intention of the event was to entertain residents and make them happy. We're very sorry for the offense that was caused. But yeah, they let the old guys get a nut, man. You know, why we gotta step in and shut it down? Nursing homes are either depressing or wild. They're certainly a depressing place. There's no doubt about it. Nursing home officials conceded that the erotic dancer's actions were too enthusiastic and fiery, and that they would be more cautious when planning such events in the future. No, let the old guys have fun. So maybe be a little bit more private about it. Maybe if you're going to do something like this, you don't do it with cameras in view. Like, people are so dumb. What is this world coming to? Why are people so stupid? How many heart attacks happened? like talking about it earlier with like the fights and stuff, like the open like vandalism of property, businesses, like assaults on people. Like, it's way more concerning to me that people are this stupid, thinking they can do stuff like out in the open and not get caught and in trouble for it. You've seen restaurants vandalized over the stupidest shit. You're seeing kids in high school like beating the absolute piss out of people to the point of it. It's like it's almost like attempted murder. Like what are we really that stupid now? Again, and I can't think of why. I mean, maybe we're so caught up in maybe we're just so caught up in whatever shit is happening that we forget. Like that would be my first thought. Like I don't even know if I would ever think that getting a stripper for like a nursing home was the appropriate thing to do. Would I want to do it? Absolutely. These guys deserve it. Would I actually carry through with it? No. No. And if I did, there certainly would not be a camera within miles. Like you better believe that woman's coming in like a sweater, slacks, sneakers, like her hair done like different. Then we're going to be in some back room, doors locked, no windows. That's how it's going. Yeah, man, I'm all for making these old men happy. For sure. Do it. But why is there a camera nearby? Why are they outside? It looks like they're outside. Maybe they're not. Maybe that's a window looking at. I can't believe it. These men absolutely deserve the nut. No one, I don't want to take that away from them. But god damn. Brahma says those guys should probably be teaching the rest of Japan's male population what to do with a woman. The birth rate is ridiculously low in that country. That generation probably needs to give lessons. Yep. I was actually reading the other day that I definitely knew that the birth rate in this country has gone down. The only reason we've been maintaining our population is because of immigration. That's scary. That's scary. Like it's scary. We need to get back to having kids. Keep our population numbers up. Yeah. And honestly, there's nothing wrong. There's something wrong with having fewer kids. Like I'm not saying that people need to go like start having as many kids as possible. Like have kids if you're ready to have kids. Don't have kids if you're not ready just because the fucking population's low. That's the most idiotic thing you could possibly do. But oh my god. Good God. It's a wild world out there, folks. It's a wild world out there. I have hope. I do have hope. I know a lot of the stuff I do can be kind of doomy and gloomy, and I don't mean to be. I want to try and provide hope where I can. And I'll tell you, there are so many good people on this earth. There's so many people who are already doing an amazing job when it comes to raising families and raising good people. There's so many good people out there. I work with some of the best kids, best students in the planet. Some of them come from some of the worst areas around the United States. There is hope. There is hope. When you watch shows like mine and you can't, and if you finding there's all this bad news I have, or all this shitty opinions or whatever, like I'm telling you, as someone who engages in the real world every single day, there are so many good people. There's a lot of good out there in this world. The problem is we're fighting upstream a lot of times. There's a lot of pressure from, I would say, progressives to push traditional values back. And what we need to do is find some sort of balance with them. I'm not saying we need to go back to the 50s. What I'm saying is we need to find a way to balance the future with tradition, if that makes any sense. Probable says our birth rate might be lower due to the enshrinement of abortion here and whatever wave of feminism we're on. We were on the fourth. Yeah, people's obsession with that is definitely there's a lot with that. I think I would honestly be willing to bet that feminism is way bigger influence on it. The whole push to demonize motherhood for, you know, a 9-to-5 like business job or something is something that's really hurting. And people are just waiting. I mean, I think it's smarter. I think it is smart that people wait and be ready, but it certainly limits the amount of children they can have. You know, when, you know, a generation or two ago, you know, women are getting married at 18, 19, having kids at 19, 20, you know. Eventually the population levels will go back up. There are always highs and lows and everything. No way to, yeah, I mean, of course. Because all this stuff is cyclical. Same with climate. I'm sick of hearing about climate change. Climate's fine. We're going to be fine. What's up, McCracken? Still need to get a beer with McCracken. Yeah, I think feminism has a huge effect on it. Again, here's the thing, and I might be alone on this to some extent. I don't care what roles people play. I don't care, but there still needs to be like traditional roles in a family. You need to have a nurturer. You need to have a provider. Mom is best suited as the nurturer because, you know, by virtue of her growing a child inside of her, it's just they're natural nurturers. It's just what they do. Men are the natural like providers, and you know they're the ones out working, doing the heavy lifting, killing animals, providing food. Right? That's just. I don't care who does that role, but you know, and you could even probably do it with. You could probably even do it with, you know, two of the same sex, but those roles need to be very present in the relationship. Without that, I think you're doing a huge disservice to children. And it's not to say that it doesn't work. I mean, people spend so much time focusing on the exceptions that they forget about the rule. They spend so much time focusing on the exceptions, which is what we're doing now. The world is focusing so hard on the exceptions that they forget about the rules. And that to me is a huge problem. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh. There's no bounds with progressives. Gender theory and CRT is designed to deconstruct traditions and remove it. Exactly. Oh, excuse me. Exactly. That's why I love listening to James Lindsay. And that's what he's doing. He's doing his best to fight that, because he understands like what they're fighting to do is deconstruct all of that, but would not replace it with anything, or what they're replacing with is just straight up racism. Straight up racism. There's actually a good TikTok today. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. That I saw about this actor. Where is it? Go. Why can't I see? Oh, here it is. Let me this is from the Trigonometry podcast. Tyler Fisher was the guest. Let me bring it up because this is a really good one. One last thing on this that you probably can't say. We may have just. Oh yeah. I sure hope not, man. I sure hope not. Nope, don't want to do that. Let me. Oh, I gotta stop sharing that screen to share the other one. Boomer, Shagrotic. This was a great clip that I'll share with you guys because I think it's important.
For about 10 years, every once in a while, a casting director would say, hey, you know, I want to submit you for this job, but we're not really doing the white guy thing right now. And I'm okay, that's interesting. And it happened more and more frequently. And then this agent that I am suing, or manager rather, reached out and said, "We love you. We want to get you auditions for Curb Your Enthusiasm, all this stuff." And um, said, "Great." A few months later, they reach out, said, we want to get you on the phone." So I'm sitting there like, all right, here we go. Finally, it's all happening. And he goes, we hit a snag. We really love you. We think you're a star, but we're not taking white guys.
And again, all you got to do is replace white with like black or any other race, and to see if it's racist, right? This whole notion that you can't be racist to white people is insane. The whole institutional power thing is the most bizarre ever. Again, it works. It helps. It helps the progressives, wrangle their power and their base, because all they do is prey on feigned oppression. Like, okay, we're going to pretend that you are oppressed, but this should annoy the absolute fuck out of you and should piss you off. And this guy's actually doing something about it. He's suing. So,
and I was just like, what the been at this for 15 years. Not that I deserve anything, if I went my whole career without getting booked on something, but
right. Again, not that anything is deserved because of, being white. It's like he couldn't even get an audition. Like, it's one thing is if he went to the audition and they said, we're just, not right now. There was not even a chance for him to try out for the role that he wanted. This is the problem. He can't even get the audition because of skin.
At least had the opportunity to audition, I'd feel okay about that. But what's happening now is they're removing certain races from even having the opportunity to compete. And so I hit record. I said, "Can you say that one more time? You like me, yeah. You think I'm a star, yeah, but you won't work with me because I'm white." And I was like, "Can you say it a little slower?" A little slower. And I said, "Is that company policy?" And he said, "Yeah, it is." And so, I hung up and I was crushed.
You should have Rachel Dolezal on you. Well, isn't that the logical end to this, right? People start playing like they become like a transracial. Like, isn't that the logical conclusion? And I know there's been other people. God, did we share that last week on the midweek hump? I forget. Yeah, no, it is. And when things like seriously become like anti-white, that's when you start creating that. They pulled up hold on, let me share this so people can see. They pulled up the ladder for white male actors. The only ones they use are the ones that are already famous, right? It's too bad. I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna be who makes me money. Like, even Hollywood's full of shit. Like, don't think for a second they actually believe like the people they put in these roles are like the best for them. Like, all these recent shows that are getting just ratioed to shit, like they don't believe that the actors are actually the best for the job. There's no possible way. If they did, they wouldn't be putting there are some actors and actresses who are really good at what they do that aren't white, of course. Like, there are some amazing actors and actresses out there. But you have to know that right now they're doing this because they think that is going to make them a bunch of money. That is how they're going to sell this product. That's how they push these products. They don't push these products based on like story and merit. They push them based on identity politics. Like, if you can't see that, you're dumb. Sorry to say. Or at least pull an Elizabeth Warren. I'm 246th black. Y'all, there is hope. I promise. There is hope in this because we got merch. That's where the hope lies. We have merchandise. Links down in the description. If you would like a t-shirt with my logo on it, feel free. And the Legion of Memers cup. My only problem is that it's a small cup. I like a giant cup of coffee. This is very small. It looks teeny tiny in my hand, but it's actually a normal size coffee cup. I have fun every single time I jump on a live with you guys. Tonight we're live on Twitch and on YouTube. If you're over on YouTube, I highly recommend you hop over here. If you're over on Twitch, I highly recommend you hop over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. We have shows Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So this week is full. We got a full week this week. Tomorrow's the midweek hump. We are going to be joined by Nick Weiser. We have what else we have? Oh, and then Friday we have community night. Oh, I totally forgot Little Mermaid. Perfect example. Lizzo tried for Ursula and probably fit the character better, but had to have a white person be the villain because we race swapped Ariel. Absolutely. That shows a big, that movie is a joke. Will you have Shagsworth panties too? Maybe. Arcus, well, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, Nick Weiser is going to be on the midweek hump tomorrow. So make sure you guys come back tomorrow. And Friday is community night. If you are a subscriber to my Twitch channel, if you're a Ko-Fi member, you guys can be a part of the conversation. We're going to hang out. We might actually be doing some gaming this weekend. We'll see how it goes. But I always enjoy the conversations. We always wear our sunglasses because the future is bright here. Right? I know you guys will enjoy it, so I'll just bring applause myself. No, tomorrow, starting at 9 p.m. Mountain Time, same time as we started tonight. What's it called? I lost my train of thought. God damn it. Anyways, lots of good stuff. 32 flavors of Shagwiser. Brahmable, we got to talk, man. Would love to have you on the hump as well. Get all the Dix division over on the midweek hump. You guys know that's how we like to spend our week. The midweek hump every Wednesday starting at 9 p.m. Mountain Time. We try and just bring the lighter side of everything. Just have a good time, have fun, make everyone laugh, give you the midway point in the week, before FNT. And we always got to start your week with the guys over on the Comics Division's channel with Yelling at Parked Cars. That show's great. I love checking in there. A lot of times I just lurk, but I really enjoyed the show last night. I like Red State a lot, so it was really great show. Yeah, man, we'll definitely talk. I'll hit you up via DM and we'll get you on the show. But that's it for the late night roast, guys. That's gonna do it. I'm gonna hang out for a little bit and chill in Discord and play some WoW probably. But yeah, Herbs. We're definitely gonna raid this weekend. We could probably stream it for sure as we try and work our way through. But that's it for me. Make sure you guys enjoyed yourselves. Smash the like button, and smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if it's your first time. Keep an eye on what we're doing. We got a lot of good stuff going on. We are out of here. I love you guys. Be good. We'll see you tomorrow night for the midweek hump.
I like to put stuff online.